Cool. So Wayward Pines is it now is going to be in its second season. So I wanted to go ahead and watch it myself. So I actually did get the opportunity to start it and view the first episode recently. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the first episode with you. And then if you haven't seen it, you'll get to watch the first season with me and then possibly segue into the next season with me when it airs soon. So you can go ahead and see the latest trailers for season 2. It looks very creepy. It has things and characters that we're not introduced to yet. So what's really cool about the first season is it has a lot of actors that we know and like from other films, you know. So it has Howard in it. It has Matt Dillon in it. It has Juliette Lewis in it. So it has quite a few people. Juliette Lewis she's the young girl from Dusk Till Dawn. And that was a long time ago in the late 90s, and she since has like a rock career and everything else, and she's a really good actress. But anywho, in this first episode we are introduced to Matt Dillon's character. So in the very first few scenes, this character it's very much like Lost to me in the sense of things go on and things are odd and no one really points them out, you know. She's like strange and creepy, and it's just like the character just like goes on about their business, but there is this odd creepiness that he begins to uncover. So anywho, it's Matt Dillon is the very first image that we see, and he's been what seemingly seems as though he's been projected from a car and thrown into a ravine. So it looks very much like Stephen King's It, you know, so where the kids were down in the river playing in the little creek right there. It looks like he was tossed into that shit, right? So anywho, he wakes up from the ground, and we see the physical damage on his body. What looks and appears to have been some sort of accident or wreckage. So it could be from the sky, it could be from wherever. But anywho, so his character begins to walk through the woods, and we see him come out at a hospital. So I'm not going to scrub through this one, so I'll try not to tell an exact retelling. It will be more so of a reminiscent of the episode. So yeah, he gets into this hospital, and he wakes up, and everything is very copacetic, as he is very heavily medicated, and as he becomes less medicated and is here for longer, things become stranger and stranger and stranger. Seemingly so where he's at. This place must be some fucking vintage hospital, like from the 70s or something. So the location itself is very odd. The technology, or the lack thereof, is very odd. The person that's attending to him, his nurse, is really overly attentive, but more so in a way that is like a 60s type nurse. She's just seemingly always trying to keep him happy, is what the oddness is here, right? So he is in this place, and as time goes by longer, he begins to ask questions. Where are the other patients? Why is he alone? You know, when can he make a phone call? Where is this shit at? You know, so she says this shit's with the police department. He'll have to check that shit out later. And she says that he can't use a phone right now, that he's in bad condition, and that they don't have any right now here in this facility for him to be able to use. So in this portion of where he's at. He's all tied up to machine. So I think she's just saying, you know, hey, we don't have shit in the room for a purpose, right? So, and it's so that you'll recover is how she plays it. So this shit goes on for a while, and then he just rips his IV out and just gets up and leaves the hospital and explores the town. He isn't stopped. There really isn't a lot of people in the hospital or in the town, so he he gets himself together, and he goes to a so he has a room, or he gets a room eventually in this hotel. But anywho, the first stop I believe is at the bar, because he's kind of just walking through town. And anywho, his first stop is at the bar. He goes into the bar. We meet Juliette Lewis's character, and you know, they're talking, and he is just revealing more and more about himself. So he's a secret agent, and he is here on a. He was close to here looking for two missing agents, and somehow got into this wreck, and he's here in this town now. So he is talking to this girl and is asked, you know, has he noticed anyone come through? Has he seen anyone that has she seen anyone that she may not have recognized? You know, has anything odd happened out of the normal here? So she says no, and she gives him she says that she knows that he's down and out. He doesn't have any money, that he's hurt, and she's just saying, you know, if he ever needs a place to stay, that she could just stop by his house, and you know, that she could rent a room out to him or something like that. So he takes that address, and eventually he ends up going there. When he goes there, the place is run down, and he sees one of the agents that he's looking for, and the agent is dead, and has been sitting here decomposing for a very, very long time, it seems. So he goes to the police office, and in the police office there's like one person, and she's a person that we know from other films and stuff, so she should be very familiar. However, she's kind of a pain in the ass, and she lets him back to see the sheriff. The sheriff is Terrence Howard, and he just doesn't very much seem to be entertaining the thought that this is, you know, crucial or anything, you know. So, you know, he takes the information for what it is, and is mostly interested about him and what he's doing here, and so, and mostly just about nothingness. And Terrence is mostly interested in the ice cream cone that he has at that scene. So, you know, anywho, things get odder and odder as this episode progresses. He goes back to the bar, and or let's see. So anywho, he ends up back at the hospital, and when he ends up back at the hospital, he's actually helped escape. So more and more starts to come apart about this town. He so in one of the places, he's given a letter by someone who says that the crickets in this town aren't real, and he's walking by a bush and notices that there's cricket sounds, and he reaches into the bush and pulls out this fucking amplification device. So seemingly, so this town is completely set up. So this becomes to be unraveled more and more and more in this first episode, and he eventually is rescued by Juliette Lewis, and they wreck that nurse in the hospital, you know, to escape. So she's they were drugging him to stay there, to sedate him, to keep him away from the to keep his awareness away from what is happening in this town for longer. So I guess if people play along. So anyways, as this progresses, more and more people that he knows from his past are here and let him know that this shit is odd, to just keep going with it, that this place is a good place as long as you play their fucking games. So he's just not with that shit, and he steals a car from this person's front yard, and he bolts, you know, for the woods where he began here. He goes further that direction, and he finds this fucking gate, and keeps that is. And we see a view, an aerial view that goes further outward, closer to the orbit, you know, outward, and we just get this massive aerial view of and it's like this fucking canyon that's a prison or something, some sort of enclosed area, right? So, anywho, he goes down from this fucking place, and the sheriff is there, and the sheriff takes him in. So anywho, the promos for the new shit is very cool. It seems like it has aliens or something, and I don't think Matt Dillon is in it. So if you're interested in this sort of shit where it's kind of like X-Files meets Lost and several other fucking programs like that, it's really interesting. The cinematography is very intriguing. The story is very intriguing. It seems very much like JJ 2, in the sense that the way that the story is told, they don't tell you too much, but then they don't give you too little either. It's just a very interesting project. Cool. So in the future, we'll be doing more like this series called 100. There's some old series that are hopefully coming back, who may not. Anyways, we've got a ton to cover. Cool. So see you guys next time. Yeah.